So, first and foremost, I'll start off by saying Brakathon, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shout out to the Hope for Elect, starting with the 144,000 Shalom. All right, so, Lord willing, we're listening on the road, and I was listening to the elders, listen to the elders camp they did yesterday, which they do every Saturday, right? Elder Apostle Tahar, Elder Apostle Kabar, Lord willing, the Spirit brought a lesson upon, meditate in the Spirit, the Spirit of how about y'all shall bring a topic upon me, do a lesson, right? And, as I was watching the elders, Elder Apostle Tahar, this is a quote that he said, right? He said, the title of it is going to be, this is a faith thing, this is a spiritual thing, because, he was talking about how, our nations are scattered out, we're scattered abroad, right? Good precept, right? James chapter 1, right? And 1, it says, James, a servant of Yahweh, right? And of the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting, right? So we're scattered all over, right? Our nation, our people are like all people because we're scattered amongst all people, right? We're scattered out amongst the whole earth, right? Everywhere, 4 corners of the earth, we're scattered abroad, But the point is, that I said it's the faith thing. This is a spiritual thing because through the Spirit, Yahweh Shai, those elect have the faith, right? Those elect ultimately receive the Spirit, right? And get the gift of faith, right? To be brought back in and to believe, right? Because as you know, a lot of Jake don't believe, a lot of Jake don't get it. But the Spirit of Yahweh Shai is gathering that elect, bringing them back into the fold, the adoption. Romans 9:4, right? The adoption, man. Romans 8 was the precept that Elder Apostle Gabar brought out as well. He brought in Romans chapter 8, right? They've been brought back in through the Spirit, right? They've been brought back in through the Spirit, right? And we know that, through this knowledge and understanding, right? Because those are those ones when you go to Ezekiel, right? When you go to Ezekiel chapter 37, right? And Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse, let's see, bear with me. I'm trying to see what point I want to hit, right? Right here, Ezekiel 37 and 5, right? It said, this saith the Lord Yahweh unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live, right? That breath is knowledge and understanding. Ultimately, that comes through what? The Spirit, And this all, this lesson, that's how you just think about this lesson, when I was going to go into it, lately, kind of, Elder Apostle Rumline did a lesson on it, things that such, but, even we did a few camps and the sit down we did last week and the camp we did last week as well. It's all going to the spirit of having faith, because this is a lesson Elder Apostle Rumline did. There's nothing much but more we trying to prove to you, man. Either you have the faith or you don't. Either Most High gave you the Spirit or you didn't. I did a lesson on that as well. But that's why this thing is about title of the lesson. This thing is about faith. This thing is about faith. This thing is spiritual, right? Lord willing, a quote that the elder, this is a spiritual, this is a faith thing. This is a faith thing. This is a spiritual thing, right? You gotta have the faith, right? You gotta have the faith, right? And I'll finish this real fast, right? It says, verse 6, says, I will lay my sinews upon you and will bring flesh upon you and cover you with the skin and put breath in you, and you shall live, and you shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh. And we have the faith of Yahweh Shai, right? Those elect, right? Lord willing, we're that hopefully elect, right? We have that faith. Right? When you see this, right, verse 6, maybe think of Micah chapter 3, if I'm mistaken, right, that melting pot, when it talks about, Micah chapter 3, right? Verse 2, it says, who hate, now, if I start at verse 1, it says, and I said, hear, I pray you, O heads of Jacob, and ye princes of the house of Israel. Is it not for you no judgment? Right? Because Yahweh Shai gave us the laws and commandments. He gave us those things that are pleasing unto him to do the righteous works. Right? But you have Jake who don't have the faith to believe. So Jake could go do what? Who hate the good. They hate the prophets. They hated Yahweh Shai. right? They hate to hear the prophets. They hate to hear these things. Prophets ought to be smooth things. They said Isaiah 30, right? You know, they hate the good. They hate the ones, they hate the ones who give them the truth supposed to be for their welfare, right? Who really trying to help them, save them, giving them warning from Yahweh Shah, right? It says who hate the good and love the evil, but they love Esau. They love his way. They love everything about it, right? They love Babylon, right? It says who pluck off their skin from off them and their flesh off their bones, because why? They don't have the faith. See, when this spirit comes upon, we have the faith of Yahweh Shah, so that those dry bones, those dry bones in the valley who've been woken up, right? Ultimately, that's the whole nation of Israel being brought back together. But those are the elect, right? Those are the elect because we have the faith. We have the spirit of Yahweh. We have the faith to believe and understand who we are. See, Jake, they don't have that faith. No, they don't have the faith or the spirit. So Esau tearing them up. Esau got them in that melting pot. Right? Continue reading on, it says, who also eat the flesh off my people and flay their skin from off them. They break their bones and chop them in pieces. As for the pot, and as the flesh with the caldron, that caldron is like a big pot. I'm saying it right. Caldron, but it's like a big pot, that melting pot, right? And Esau he's tearing Jacob. You know, he tearing Jacob. He put him in that pot because that pot's gonna be ultimately the destruction. That we how about Yahweh reign upon this place, right? Because they don't have that faith, they don't have the spirit how about Yahweh. But ultimately, how about Yahweh is gathering his elect through that spirit, right? Through the spirit, right? And when the spirit comes upon us, right, we have the faith to believe, the faith to understand, because we have the knowledge to understand through these scriptures, right? Let's see. This is Hebrews chapter 11, right? And I read verse 6. It says, but without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Yahweh must believe that he is, and he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So without faith it is impossible, right? Without faith it is impossible, right? Because the spirit of Yahweh comes upon us and brings us knowledge and understanding, right? So we receive knowledge and understanding. You know, I read this yesterday the other day as well, a little bit, you know, when Yahweh comes up with you, right? And the elders were talking about this as well. When Yahweh comes up with you, right? You knock on that door with your mind, right? You have the faith to believe, right? You believe it, right? Because you bear witness to your conscience, so you believe, right? You believe in Yahweh. See, many people didn't believe him, and there was many who did, but there was a lot more who didn't. They didn't believe him. They didn't believe him, right? I brought this out at the let's see, what was his name? Thomas. I brought this out at the account the other day. The account with Thomas, right? When Thomas didn't believe in Yahweh was resurrected, you know, right here. The account with Thomas didn't he didn't believe in Yahweh. He didn't believe that Yahweh was resurrected until he seen it. Right? This is John 20:27. He said, then said he to Thomas, reach hither thy finger, and behold, matter of fact, I'll jump up real fast. Right here, John 20:24, he says, but Thomas, one of the 12, called Didymus, Slacky, if I'm saying it wrong, it says, was not with them when Yahweh came, right? So Thomas ain't there, right? It says, and the other disciples therefore said unto him, we have seen the Lord. But he said unto them, except I shall see in his hands the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of the nails, and thrust my hand to the side, I will not believe, right? So he don't got the faith to believe, right? He said, and after 8 days again, his disciples were within, and Thomas with them. Then came Yahweh, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst, and said, peace be unto you, right? Then said he to Thomas, reach hither thy finger, and behold my hands, and reach hither thy hand, and thrust it in my side, and be not faithless, but believing, right? He said, and Thomas answering said to him, my Lord and my power, right? Yahweh said to him, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Blessed are they that have not seen me and yet have believed. Because it's a faith thing, right? We can't just so bring house there, right? We can't just bring Yahweh right down here right now, you know. But we got faith to believe, the understanding that Yahweh he's coming to deliver us, right? Because this thing is by faith. This thing is by the spirit. Because we had the spirit of what? We had the spirit of prophecy to know that there are signs, there are things that are set for us to see, to understand that you know Yahweh is beginning to. All right, we got a precept, right? 2nd Ezra 9, right? He answered me and then said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. When thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Because those are the ones, those spirits who were brought back to life. So those are those dry bones, let me say, that are brought back to life through the Spirit, right? And those are the ones who believe, who have that faith, right? Because once again, this thing is about faith. This thing is about this is a faith thing. It's a spiritual thing, right? This ain't no carnal fleshy thing. This ain't none of that. This ain't no bullshit thing, right? Because you gotta have the faith. If you don't have the faith, you ain't gonna last in this thing, right? So if you don't got that faith, you ultimately you don't have the Spirit. If you don't have no faith, you don't have the Spirit, right? Because the ones who have the Spirit, how about SIGH&CRY, they believe in Him, right? They believe in Him. As a precept that say we brought that to camp as well. It says hope is not the things that you've seen, right? Because what you gonna hope for, what you gonna hope for, what you see, right? So we hoping for the kingdom. We hoping for Yahweh SIGH&CRY. We got faith in Yahweh SIGH&CRY. We got faith in the kingdom. We got faith to know that it's gonna come, right? The spirit of prophecy, right? Yahweh SIGH&CRY, when the Spirit gives upon us, right? He give us a glimpse to the future, right? To see what's to come, right? That's how we prepare ourselves through the time. We prepare ourselves through the Spirit for the times to come, for the things that's going to come to pass, right? Because it's all through the Spirit. It's all through faith and believing, right? See, Jake don't never believe, That's why it says patient working faith, because Jake ain't got the patience. Jake don't never believe, right? So this, let me see. I want to go to this right here, James 2, show my faith in my works, real fast. This is a good precept. I'm going to read verse 26. I'm going to find this precept real fast. Let's see. Right here, James 2:18 says, yeah, a man may say thou hast faith and thou have works. Show me thy faith without thy works. I will show thee my faith by my works, right? Because we doing the works. And that's the Spirit brings upon us to get out here and do the works, right? To teach. Because 1 Samuel chapter 10:6 said, when the Spirit is upon you, you turn into a whole different person. You turn into a whole different man, right? We out here prophesying how it's about. That's that Spirit brings upon us to bring these things out. Right, when lessons being done, that's the Spirit how about SIGH&CRY coming upon us to teach these lessons, right? Because we got faith in this. We got faith in this thing. We got faith that's gonna come. So we gonna prophesy. We gonna be loud about it, right? We ain't gonna hold back because we got faith in this thing. It's the same thing y'all be at those football games things. So you got faith in your team that they're gonna win. You're a proud fan. You're a proud fan of that team. You love that team. Well, we love this truth. We love Yahweh SIGH&CRY. Right, and we show that by doing the works, because we being proud about it, right? And y'all do the what? Show you love your team. What? You show up to the games, you get the jerseys, we clothe ourselves in the jersey of Yahweh SIGH&CRY, the armor of Yahweh SIGH&CRY, right? We on the highways and byways teaching. We doing the lessons, right? That's how we do for our team of Yahweh SIGH&CRY, right? But I'm gonna jump down to verse 26, right? Because it says, for as the body without the Spirit is dead, because the Spirit brings you life, because this is a spiritual thing, a faithful thing, right? It says, so faith without works is dead also. Because why? You show your faith to your works. If you believe in this thing, the Spirit of Yahweh SIGH&CRY is upon you. So guess what you're going to get out there and do? You're going to do the works. You're going to stir up. You're going to teach in the name of Yahweh SIGH&CRY, right? Because this thing is about faith. This thing is about the Spirit, man. You're not going to play around with this thing, right? A few more precepts real fast, before we crank up, get back on the road. I wanted to pull over and get this done. Bear with me. That's a precept of the elder brother. I wanted to go into, let me see, bear with me. Bear with me. Really want might go into second Maccabees, or I think it's first Maccabees, might be. with me. Let me see. First Maccabees chapter 1. Second Maccabees. All right, so we gotta be. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay, here it is. Right, First Maccabees 2. Right. Starting verse 51 says, "Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time, so you shall receive a great honor and an everlasting name. Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation? It was imputed unto him righteousness," right? Because they all keeping the faith, right? It says, "Joseph in the time of distress kept the commandment and was made Lord of Egypt. Phineas our father, being zealous and fervent, obtained the covenant of an everlasting priesthood. Yahweh Shai, for fulfilling the word, was made a judge in Israel. Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation, received the heritage of the land," right? It says, "David, for being merciful, possessed the throne of an everlasting kingdom. Elias," right, was Elijah, "for being zealous and fervent for the law, was taken up into heaven. Ananias, Azarias, and Misael, by believing, were saved out of the flame. Daniel, for his innocency, was delivered from the mouth of lions. And this considered throughout all the nations," right? It's like it. "And this consider ye throughout all ages, that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome," right? Because it's the faith thing, right? So this spirit, how about Shai comes upon us, nothing can pull us away, right? When you obtain the true knowledge, when you have that spirit, how about Shai, you obtain the true knowledge, understanding, right? When you being brought to it, right? You truly believe, nothing can pull you away, right? Because that spirit is gathering that elect. That spirit and his faith is gathering the elect, right? That's ultimately the whole point of the lesson, right? A few preachers I brought out, right? And the points making, right? You know, that spirit, right? That spirit, how about Shai, and the faith, how that gift of faith, right, is gathering their elect. It's bringing them together, right? It's bringing them together, you know. Bear with me, right? Couple quick closing pre's real fast, right? But if I'm gonna go back to Ezekiel as well, right? Let me see. Bear with me. Let's see. What priest I was just taking off? Slack it. Dang. Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm gonna go back to Ezekiel. But I'm gonna read the priest up in here real fast. Let's see. I'm going to that spirit, that comforter, right? Right? John 14, verse 16 says, "I will pray the Father, he shall give you another comforter," right? "That he may abide with you forever." That's that spirit, right? The Rakakodash, the Holy Spirit. He said, "Even the spirit of truth, whom the world cannot see because it seeth him not," right? They don't believe him, right? Neither knoweth him, right? "But ye know him, for he dwelleth with you and shall be in you. I will not leave you comfortless. I will come to you. Yet a little while the world seeth me no more. Ye see me because I live, ye live also." That's through the Spirit. "In that day ye shall know that I am the Lord." It's like in that day you shall know that I am in my Father, and ye in me, and I in you. Right? So that's that spirit, right? That I want to go here, right, before I close it out, right? Back to Ezekiel 37, right? Because that's that spirit, how about Shai, and that faith, right? The spirit, how about Shai, and having that faith, right? Which is gathering the elect from the four corners, right? Which are bringing the nations together, right? Let's see. I'm gonna read verse 14. I'm gonna jump down, right? It says Ezekiel 37:14. It says, and shall put my spirit, right? It says, it shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live. I shall place you in your own land, and ye shall know that I, the Lord Yahweh, has spoken it and performed it, said the Lord Yahweh, right? So what is he going to do, right? He said, verse 20, I'm jumping down to verse 22, right? He says, and I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, right? Because that spirit, how about SIGH&CRY, is bringing the nation back together through the elect, right? It says, the nation I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all, right? It says, and they shall be no more two nations, neither they shall be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all, because you know it's SIGH&CRY, right? Then you got King David, then you have, then you have the elect, right? Then you can have the rest of our nation, is going to be in the kingdom, right? But right now, the spirit, SIGH&CRY, is coming upon the elect, and they have that faith, and that's what's gathering the elect out of the four corners of the earth that are scattered abroad, man. So this is a faith thing. It's a spiritual thing, man. You know. So Lord willing, right. With that being said, right, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bahashem SIGH&CRY. You know, double honor to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone, and shout out to the whole elect, starting with the 144,000. Shalom.